Ultra Instinct, the OP dodgy glowy form. Muso Tensei, the OG OP dodgy glowy form. At a glance, these two look extremely similar. They both have the same sort of glow, both were introduced fighting a red aurored enemy stronger than the whole cast, they both even have extremely similar shots. But today we're here to discuss a definite anime hot topic. Which form is better, Muso Tensei or Ultra Instinct? But that's not all. After that, we're gonna discuss the more controversial topic. Who would win with equal stats? Ultra Instinct Goku or Muso Tensei Kenshiro? First we have to know what both forms are for a base. Ultra Instinct, or Autonomous Ultra Instinct, is a form where the fighter can dodge without really thinking about movement as their reflexes dodge for them. This somehow isn't as broken as it sounds, as even though he dodges without thinking, when he ends up fighting Jiren, he still manages to get hit somehow quite a few times, which is implying it can't just dodge anything. And I guess it depends on how fast the enemy is moving. So far it's been used against Kefla, Jiren, Moro, and Granola, and it's beaten Kefla. I know most people would argue, it beat the others, but my problem with this is, they fought multiple people, and they all did big moves against the main villains. Jiren fought a good chunk of the cast, and even when he loses, it was more of a teamwork thing than Goku just watching him. Moro was pretty much the same as Jiren, but it was a bit more of a mess. Other than fighting a literal Angel, Vegeta, and Goku, Moro beats Goku, and as normal for Post Z, he gets up again somehow, and then he... Granola fought Goku and Vegeta in their best forms, and at the time of writing this, they still haven't beat him. And he's beaten both of them, so yeah, he's beat just Kefla. I'm not gonna argue it's not an oh shit moment when Goku brings out UI, as it is his most powerful form, for the moment, and dealt damage to everyone he's used it on, but after its initial debut, as with most Dragon Ball forms, his strength seems to have started falling off a bit. Along with the fact that Goku doesn't and can't really fight threats on his own, as they're almost always stronger than him. Now we get on to Muso Tensei, or Nil Thought Rebirth. There's a lot more to explain here. Muso Tensei is the strongest of Hokuto Shinken's moves. It provides complete invulnerability to attacks. I know in the clips I'm showing it looks like, oh, Kenshiro's just dodging like Ultra Instinct was. No. You know when you see two people play a fighting game and you're just like, this person's playing on another level, this other dude's getting absolutely clapped. No! Or something like that? That's what Muso Tensei is. When someone enters Muso Tensei, they're fighting you on an entirely different plane of existence. Unless the other person also has Muso Tensei, Ken cannot get hit unless it's somehow disabled. It's beaten no, hold on, actually, Muso Tensei also has another incy-weensy teensy little perk to it. It also lets Ken use the mastered version of every person he's fought or seen fight before his moves. Yes, every single person he's met since the first season. When he goes into Muso Tensei, he could use any of their moves. There's nothing in theory stopping him from learning moves mid-fight either. He's used Muso Tensei on Ro, Kaio, and Solia, and he's beaten Ro, Kaio, and Solia alone. Though Kaio could and did disable it with his weird gimmicky powers, Kenshiro overcame it and defeated him anyways. For the Ro fight, Ro also had Muso Tensei, so it wasn't a tense fight, but Kenshiro kills him regardless. As for Solia, Kenshiro quickly used it to lob his arm off in the manga, and he didn't even really have to use it against him. There's also another major difference between the two forms not many people seem to mention. See, with Ultra Instinct, Goku is usually forced to use UI as his other forms are deemed too weak for who he's fighting against. Other than the Broly fight, he's used it for every major fight since Kefla for 4 fights. Muso Tensei is so strong, Ken hasn't needed to use it since those 3 times. Let alone, he didn't even really have to use it against Solia. While UI is somewhat new and Goku hasn't had a lot of chances to really use it, Kenshiro's gotten into many fights since learning MT, but he hasn't had to use it on many enemies as they aren't strong enough to even warrant using the form on them. It's not because Ken is that strong, even though that definitely is a part of it. It's that Muso Tensei is so stupidly strong and overpowered, his fights would end in literal seconds if he used it as frequently as Goku used UI. I've heard many people say UI versus Muso Tensei by themselves as forms would be a draw, which I feel must have been said by someone who just saw both forms glowing and dodging, because this just isn't true, like, at all. Muso Tensei far outclasses Ultra Instinct in every way, from strength to technique, and before someone says speed, speed's not really a factor, as like I said, you can't hit MT unless the other person in the fight is also in MT. The only thing these two literally have in common is blue glowing and After Effects hand movement. fights. In terms of forms, Muso Tensei is going to take this fight. So I've come to a realization in the middle of recording this video. This point is not going to be brought up in any point of this video because I think it would destroy the whole point of it. But if we were being really serious and technical, Muso Tensei, the thing about Muso Tensei is, as I said earlier, it learns techniques by seeing them. All he has to do is see it and he can do it. Ultra Instinct is a technique. It is not a form, as we've seen multiple characters do it and say this. It's even on the wiki that it's a technique. So technically, if we were being 100% serious, if someone with Muso Tensei saw Ultra Instinct, they could copy Ultra Instinct and then be in both forms at the same time. But anyways, that was just a quick point to throw out, so let's get back to the video. Now we're gonna have the equal stats Goku versus Kenshiro argument. Someone might be saying, why not just say Goku versus Kenshiro period? Well, that's because I'm not gonna argue that point because it would be really stupid. One of these people can blow up planets, fight gods, and fly, and the other can't. It's obvious who would win that if it was just normal Goku versus Kenshiro. For this, we're gonna downscale Goku to Kenshiro's strength. Basically, we're just gonna make him a really durable human. He'll still have all of his techniques and stuff, he just can't fly or, I know some people tried to have this conversation before on some anime FAQ website when MUI just came out, but it seemed most of those people didn't really know what Fist of the North Star was, or knew what the words equal stats meant. So as a person who's seen both of the shows, and now that more time's passed for Dragon Ball to use UI more, I'm going to try to end the conversation for them. To break this down, I'm going to be going over the main talking points I remember them making in their arguments, along with some common misconceptions people have about Kenshiro, since a lot of people haven't seen Fist of the North Star. Starting with the, can MT Ken even hit MUI? Wouldn't it just be a tie? I feel like the person who said this just wanted some peace and quiet because UI can't hit Muso Tensei at all. This literally physically just cannot happen. But most people argue no one can hit UI, even though Jiren hits UI multiple times when he used full power, so I don't see why MT with equal stats wouldn't be able to. This is the same character whose simplest attack is 100 Fist Rush, so I feel like hitting Goku even in UI wouldn't be that hard for him. But before I get off this point, note when I say that, I don't mean he'd simply walk up grown and then just simply as Goku would probably still be able to weave a lot of his attacks. But as I keep saying, Jiren hit Goku multiple times, and since Ken really only needs a few good hits before he can disable you, I don't think it would be difficult for him to get those few hits and then just clean up shop from there. We don't know if Goku has the same organs or pressure points as a human. Goku literally has a heart attack. Ken could work with just this. As for the pressure points, I'm gonna say it'd be quite weird if they were just randomly different. But even if they were, it's not as if Ken couldn't figure this out. Because when he fought Bowser, he figured out his organs and pressure points were reversed in the middle of fighting him. Goku's a real smart martial artist. He can probably outthink Kenshiro. These two characters are not on the same level of martial arts at all. Most of Kenshiro's fights end up with him creating a new technique to counter the enemies mid-fight, disabling body parts, and things similar to this. Goku's main strategy is to just be stronger than the person he's fighting. Most fights, Goku gets help from someone, or he just ends up stronger than the villain through some sort of random power-up. Or, as most fights, if not all fights in Super this far, both. Goku just really hasn't done anything for me to go, whoa, that was really smart, what an outplay. The only time I can think of is maybe when he shot the Ki Blast out of the water against Frieza, I guess, but he's never done anything super wild. While Kenshiro has moments like that all the time. Damn near every major fight, actually. If Goku at Kenshiro's strength fought someone with a gimmick like Kaio or Salder, I don't think he would have won. Kenshiro can't even shoot beams. He doesn't even have ranged attacks. This again is what I mean by people just haven't seen the show. Even if we ignore the fact that Ken's able to do this move I forgot the Japanese name of, so I'm gonna put it on the screen, that also hits pressure points and his own little hand beams like he did against Ro. Like I said earlier, Ken can use the abilities of anyone he's fought, and Ken's fought a lot of characters that can use beams, blasts, and explosive waves. Ken could steal Kamehameha or any of Goku's beams mid-fight if he really wanted or needed to. I wanted to get that out of the way just because I do remember this comment slightly miffed me a little bit when I first saw it. Long story short, don't think Goku's winning. Yeah, this is why people don't do anime debates with you guys, but hear me out. I'm gonna use a fighting game term here now, but the main advantage Goku would have here is he could zone out Kenshiro with all his beams and stuff, as Ken's beams haven't really been shown to reach that far. But he isn't exactly slow either, so I don't think him catching Goku would really be a problem, let alone he could just walk through the beams. This fight simply is not possible with these circumstances for Goku. Let alone Kenshiro just has a lot more ways to incapacitate Goku. Literally any normal rush attack Ken does could mess him up. If he hits his pressure points enough, it's just over. Let alone Ken can do shit like this. And if Goku tries to back up with a quick jump or a flip, Ken can do this. And don't even get me started on this merciful technique. It can hit pressure points, it has range, an undefined range that changes in most other normal forms of media it's in. That alone could end this fight really quickly. But to give DBZ fans some kind of peace in this is pretty much the only way Ken wins this matchup. Without Muso Tensei but still with equal stats, it would be a rough fight with either being able to take it, but it would lean more to Goku due to his utility things like Solar Flare and his ranged attacks having more range than Ken's do. Things like the Destructo Disc would be able to significantly injure if not kill Ken instantly if they landed. Without equal stats, it'd be nigh impossible if Goku went all out on Ken immediately. While with Muso Tensei, Goku can't hit Kenshiro. If Goku flies real high into the air, there's not much Ken can really do but cry, because there's not really anything he can do about that. Ken can jump really high, but Goku can definitely fly higher. If Goku blew up the Earth, which isn't very characteristic, but regardless, there's not much Ken could really do about it, as even in MT, no one he's fought has had power even close to being able to do that. If Goku magically somehow punches Kenshiro, Ken's most likely dead, as no one from his verse hits that hard. Goku is also way faster than Ken is. If this was a death battle thing, I bet they say some shit like, yes, Goku is 50,080 billion gigajoules of explosive TNT fast. That wasn't the original conversation we're having, so it does not matter. Anyways, I'm sure people are gonna have things to say about this video. As always, I'm happy to discuss with any of you guys in the comments below. I'm trying to hit 350 subs before the end of the month, so if this interested you, I hope you subscribe. And with that, I've been M, and I am out.